All right. Ready, Carmen? We're good? All right, good afternoon. We're here this afternoon at the lovely New Rochelle Boys and Girls Club, the Remington unit, right? The New Rochelle Boys and Girls Club, to talk about a very serious issue regarding the abrupt cancellation of programs that were slated and were funded under the Temporary Aid for Needy Families program, the TANF funding, and they were valuable after-school programs that the county had gotten engaged in. By way of background, these programs are after-school programs, and there were 4 of these after-school programs, including the New Rochelle Boys and Girls Club, the Yonkers, YMCA, the Nepperhan Community Center, and Westchester Rise. All 4 of those programs were advanced by the Department of Social Services Commissioner Kevin McGuire on August 29th. The Board of Acquisition and Contracts, that include myself, the county executive, and a member of the Department of Public Works, which was John Shue at that time, approved these contracts on October 27th, 2011. The contracts were advanced to the various agencies by letter from the Department of Social Services pursuant to contract on November 16th, 2011. On about the beginning of December, December 3rd was the earliest letter, December 13th was the latest letter that we have seen. The county then exercised its right to cancel these contracts, although they are 100% federal funds, 100% funds that are not tax levy funds, 100% of the funds that we had already received, and these particular programs were in flow. The contract, so everyone understands, for all of these programs were commencing September 1st, 2011, and were to be terminating at the end of the school year, basically August 31st, 2012. These programs are essential and they are extremely valuable. We had worked with the administration in trying to resolve this significant issue that we identified as early as December. December 19th was the first conversation that we had with the administration in trying to resolve this issue, and basically after a 4-month period, we're at a particular point in time that we're ready to bring this issue forward and to really get it resolved and move forward for the good of the young people of Westchester County. These programs are essential, and they provide a stable environment for people to learn and understand, and we'll have folks to talk about the things as we move forward. I'm joined this afternoon by colleagues on the board, including Legislator Lyndon Williams, Legislator Alfreda Williams, Legislator Virginia Perez, and Legislator Marcotte is going to try to be here this afternoon. She did have some conflicting appointments, but this is her district, and Legislator Marcotte is absolutely committed to making sure these programs move forward, because both her and Minority Leader Mazzano are committed and have been in these discussions since the beginning of December, or the middle of December, in trying to get this particular issue resolved. It's time to get the issue resolved so that the money can flow to these valuable organizations who in each and every day provide these valuable services for the people of Westchester County, and they do not deserve to have funding and federal funding that's been misappropriated at this particular point in time, because that money should have gone and should have been reserved for that purpose. So where we are right now, I'm going to pass over to the Vice Chairman, to Alfreda Williams, who is the chair of our Community Services Committee, who is the one that's been the lead agency or lead committee as far as this item is concerned. Alfreda.
Thank you. Good afternoon. The total TANF grant funding for the 4 after-school programs for 2011 and 2012 was $255,312. According to county budget records, only $85,104 of that was delivered to the 4 programs, leaving a balance of approximately $170,000 of federal funds withheld and stopped, causing the programs to shut down and closing the door to over 200 students. At no point was the Board of Legislators notified that any problems existed with the funding for these programs. So the sudden closing remains both troubling and inexplicable. The shortfall could have easily been made up, but because the money was there. This is similar to the Astorino Administration's so-called funding emergency that is claimed to be the cause of increasing the family share for child care subsidies cost from 20% to 35%. Why? Again, the board has never been given a financial justification for the administration's decision-making. Okay, I'm going to turn the program over now to our Lyndon Williams, who is the chair, I'm sorry, who's the majority chair of the Board of Legislators.
I'm vice chair.
Thank you. I'm Vice Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Legislator Williams. Let me say this. I think that when we are discussing programs that actually are after-school programs for children, many of whom are in need of after-school training, need of places like the Boys and Girls Club that provide a positive place, a safe haven for young people, to give them opportunities to get homework help, to give them opportunity to participate with others, and to take them out of situations where they might not have this opportunity. For the County of Westchester to step aside and have funding for such programs just disappear with the kind of callousness that says we don't really care to what happened to the children who benefit from these programs, that is a travesty. It is indeed a travesty. We are supposed to be a county, a progressive county, and we are. And we could not stand silent. We would be wrong, and any legislator, any individual in this county who would stand silently and have programs for children to be severed, for the money to be just disappear, and be quiet about that, that's really indictable. I want to say this, that I question, I'm concerned about how the Astorino administration plan to be accountable to these young people who are deserving of these programs. $170,000 of federal funding means a whole lot in terms of Boys and Girls Clubs, in terms of all of these districts from which these children benefit. It's a significant amount of money. It means a lot. It means whether or not that child will be able to be in a program that is qualitatively improve their lives, or whether they'll be at home doing absolutely nothing or be out in the streets. That's really the bottom line of what we're talking about here. And we as a legislator could not and would not abide that. We would not be fulfilling our responsibilities as elected officials if we were to be silent about this. So I want to say that I want to call on the administration to step up and take corrective action. They have at this point abandoned programs for children. But it's never too late to step forward and do the right thing. And that's what I think ought to be done. And I want to commend the New Rochelle Boys and Girls Club for the great work that they do, because they are standing in the vanguard to protect children, protect young people in this community. And we ought to be standing with them. Let me turn over now to Legislator Virginia Perez, whose district has been also impacted by this very, very poor decision that has been made. And I know that she has a lot of concerns for the constituents who are going to be negatively impacted by this decision.
Thank you, Legislator Williams. As chair of the Public Safety and Security Committee, it is very easy to see and understand how there is a direct correlation between crime and education. And the cancellation of these programs, with no doubt, it is going to affect the quality of life of these students. And it's going to make a negative impact in their community. Keeping students up with these programs will help keep students up with the classwork, and it'll give them more incentives to stay in school and to stay off the streets and, of course, out of trouble. In Yonkers, my municipality, in Yonkers, these after-school programs were being supported by the Yonkers Juvenile Crime Enforcement Coalition because truancy is an absolute problem. Approximately 90 students were being served at the after-school programs in Greenburgh, and over 100 were split between the two programs in Yonkers. We have to fight in order to keep these programs available to the students. Again, there is a direct correlation between crime and education, and we want to be able to provide these kids with the education and the tools that they need in order to succeed and make a positive impact in their communities and in their lives. Again, I would really like to thank and commend the Boys and Girls Club for standing next to us and helping us stand up for these programs. And I'm looking forward to working with my colleagues in the Board of Legislators so that we can be able to do something positive. Thank you. I'm going to turn over the mic to our chairman, Mr. Jenkins.
And at this time, I'm going to ask the Executive Director of the outstanding New Rochelle Boys and Girls Club, not just the Remington unit, the whole thing, Quay Watkins, to say a few words, and then we'll wrap up. Quay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chairman Jenkins, and thank you to all of the legislators for being here at the Boys and Girls Club. It's really our honor to have you here. And I am with Tina Mitchell, who is the director of the Remington unit, in addition to Dante Hudson, who directs our programs for youth. It's really sad that the funding, not only for our children here at the Boys and Girls Club, but for the children that are affected in the other communities as well, that these funds are being discontinued in the middle of the school year. You know, this club has been in existence for over 80 years, and we have received generous support from Westchester County, for which we are really grateful. However, because of this support, we have been able to help children in terms of providing academic support, homework help, tutoring, and we get results. We get notes from teachers that encourage us to continue doing what we're doing because they see the progress that the students are making academically. And we hope that the county steps up and restores this funding so we can continue to provide that much needed support to the kids who need us most, which is really our mission here at the Boys and Girls Club. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Tina, do you want to?
Hello. As unit director here at the Remington Boys and Girls Club of New Rochelle, it's important that the funds, go through the programs here. We have children here that are in certain grades, like 3rd, 4th grade, but they can't read. I mean, that's very, sad and hurtful. And so those funds should be available so we could continue the program so they can get the help that they need after school. So once again, I want to thank everybody for coming and helping us to revive those funds here at the Boys and Girls Club and in other places. So thank you.
Tina, thank you so much. And Quay Watkins, and certainly to Mitchell as well, and all of our colleagues that are here. The concern is on two fronts. One is that these funds are not tax levy funds, right? And the question is, well, if the funds were adopted and appropriated by the Board of Acquisition and Contract, and that's the administration and the Board of Legislators working on behalf of Westchester County, now those funds are misappropriated because they're not where they're supposed to be. They should be in valuable programs like here at the Boys and Girls Club. They should be up in Greenburgh at Westchester Rising. Certainly they should be in Yonkers, in the 2 programs at the Nepperhan Community Center and the YMCA that are valuable partners and ensuring that we're saving taxpayers' dollars, and people should recognize that. These investments save money in the long run. In the short run, they save money in the school systems. And it's a way that we help together to be able to keep those taxes low. But more importantly, it helps us all in the long run because we all want a healthy and vibrant community, and these healthy programs help to make sure that that happens. So we're calling on the administration to make sure that this immediate problem is immediately eradicated. And people should understand, again, that we've been working on this particular issue since December of 2011 and trying to work in a way to make sure that these things are moving forward and to bring closure to these issues and to do what's right for Westchester. What we have to continue to do is to make sure that the monies that are appropriated are spent in the ways that they're supposed to be spent on the programs that were adopted to be spent on. And again, that board's not the Board of Legislators. That board is the Board of Acquisition and Contract. And that's the thing that's so important here, that we have an agency that does that stuff. I will tell you again that all of our colleagues, all of our partners in government are all looking to do the same thing, which is to do what's right for Westchester. So thanks again, and we'll talk with you soon. Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I'm good. How are you? So nice to meet you. Thank you.